Alright folks, how we doing today? Get my camera to set still there. So it's been a while since I've done videos like this. Normally I just do scenery shots, wildlife, stuff like that. Once in a while in the shop, I'll kind of go through, show what we're doing with the video. Once upon a time I did a lot of these live streams, videos like this, my face. Try to avoid it. It's not really me you want to see, it's the lake, it's the beauty of the area. But we're going to do a set of these anyway, so please bear with me. So, what is Arcadia Lodge? Who are we? What do we do? I haven't done this description in ages, so for all of our new followers out there, I figure it's time. We are a family-run and operated resort. Think old school resort, not the big corporate jobs where there's hundreds of employees, sometimes thousands, branches all over the place. No, just us. One location. We do cabins here at Arcadia, no campground. So let's go back to the very, very beginning, and we'll start from there. The Jones family got here in 1991. I was 3 years old, little guy. My sister was just about to turn 1. Steve bought the resort coming out of the Air Force. He was in for a good chunk of the 80s, the Cold War, Desert Storm, the fun stuff. Got out, decided he wanted to be his own boss, and ended up buying the resort. Back then it had 11 cabins, not much for land, about maybe 1,000 feet of lakeshore total, at best. Cabins were old, not well kept, so the first few years it was a struggle just to keep the kids fed and the doors open. The second year he opened a restaurant, drawing on experience from my grandma Ramel. His mom owned a cafe in Moose Lake, worked restaurants through college, so he knew what he was doing. And we ran that restaurant for 20 years. I remember as a young kid, 8, 9 years old, on a stool, washing dishes, moved my way up to prep cook. My sister Nikki was the head waitress for years and years. In 2012, we decided no more restaurant. It just wasn't viable anymore. But for a good chunk of the 90s, that's how we made our living, more than the cabins. So those first about 8 years were tough, but got through it. In 1999, decided to build our first new cabin. And if you know anything about us, we kind of follow the mantra, go big or go home. All of our cabins up to that point were 2, 3 bedrooms, a couple little tiny 1 bedrooms. The one big cabin we had was Snow Lodge. That's one of the few cabins that survived the purge back then. It's right up here by the lodge with 6 bedrooms, but not big. It does its job, but just barely. So this thing was 3 stories, 3,000 square feet, bigger than anything anybody had ever tried to do in this business before. More than a few folks called us nuts. It's kind of nice to prove them wrong, and we did. So when Basswood came online, that very first cabin, it doubled our cabin revenue in 1 year. So, that one new cabin was equal to the other 11 for an entire year. Gives you an idea what those other 11 were worth. Now, once that was proven, we went full steam ahead. Over the next 8 years, we ended up building 21 cabins. A couple of those were bought, but extensive remodels, kind of stuff where you kind of might as well burn it down and start it over, but got it done. And then the crash happened. Things slowed down for a few years. In 2015, we started buying properties again. Now we're up to 29 cabins. So we've grown a lot since I've been here over the last 30-some years. Now we do, well, let's back up again a little bit. So when the new cabins were being built, the emphasis was on size. We wanted to be big, roomy, elbow room, not the kind of cabins where you go in the bedroom and you have to crawl over the bed to get to your side. We didn't want that. We wanted elbow room, like I said. And at the time, the emphasis was on large and cheap. And cheap, I mean by the person. You could pack a lot of people in this cabin, and the price per person was pretty low. And this was a pretty good business model for about 10 years. And then the crash happened, and then there was lots of, well, let's get my screen to unlock here. We got to change it up. When the crash happened, life was not so good, but we survived it. During that time frame, we started playing with a lot of the activities. If you've been here before, you know that while you're here, Monday through Thursday, there's always something going on. Whether it's tubing behind the speedboat, arts and crafts with the kids, bingo night, we make donuts, we do tie-dye t-shirts, just all kinds of stuff. And what we learned is that we have to do that stuff because our local community doesn't offer much to tourists. We are in the middle of no man's land, so it is very beautiful, it's very quiet, but there's nothing else to do here. I mean, you go fishing, you go boating, you do all that fun stuff on the water, but when you have a bad day, weather-wise, or the kids are just too tired to go fishing again, or the fishing sucks that year, and you want to do something else, nothing to do. So we learned that we have to offer all of that interior to ourselves. And that's where we changed will be the third change. First change was when we built the new cabins. Then we started changing again, and the emphasis became on, we were still on how do we pack people in, price per point relatively low per person, but adding value to your stay, things to do. And that really kind of snowballed into what we are today, which is we do a ton of that value add stuff. We don't want any nickel and dime BS. Everything's included, from the life jackets in the beach house all the way up to the firewood, to how many people the cabin will sleep. We don't do extra person charges anymore. If you can fit them in a bed, it's included. And that's really worked well, and people really seem to appreciate that idea. And then at the same time, we've kept things that you do have to pay for, like ice cream in the lodge, a souvenir sweatshirt, keeping those prices as low as possible, to the point where, honestly, I lose my shirt on ice cream sales. But the kids love it. They can come up with their $2 and get a great big ice cream cone, and they're very happy, big smiles, and that's what the game is all about. So that's kind of just a relatively brief overview of who we are and what we do. And I plan on doing more of these videos where we'll talk about, individual cabins, cabin types, what to do on the lake structure, fishing, all that good stuff. I am happy to say that in our local area, things are starting to change a bit. We're getting more places to eat in the area. New businesses, folks are really seem to be rallying around the idea of tourism here, which is really good. For so many years, it was logging, folks driving over the Island Range to do the mining. Both of those industries aren't what they used to be. Big part of that is just technology. You don't need 10 guys to go log 10 acres anymore. A couple of guys and 2 pieces of equipment, you're done. So tourism is kind of where the money's at, and we need that to keep this area alive and thriving. So that's kind of what I know. Now, as far as I'm going to name drop a couple places locally that I think you should try out. If we aren't your cup of tea, please come to a family-run resort. Don't go to those big corporate jobs where the CEO gets to buy another vacation home in another country. Support the small family resorts. I know, like us, it's all me, Kylie, and Steve. This is all we do. We have no other jobs. We've got 2 kids. Me and Kylie. We have Ariana and Carly. We are raising a family, feeding and clothing our kids. We hire out of the local community, cleaners, maintenance staff, all that good stuff. Try to keep that money in the community and here where it belongs. So, place I'm going to name drop. North Star Lake Resort. New owners over there the last few years. They opened up a bar and grill, basically, I think is what it is. I honestly haven't been able to get over there yet myself. I rarely get off the property. But by all reports, it's been doing really well. Cedar Point Resort. Mike and Tracy over there do a good job. Big Timber Resort. Lisa over there. All 3 of those are on North Star Lake. And then the Timberwolf Inn, which is just north of Marcel on 38 there, also does a pretty good job and has a good restaurant. So options for you. If we're not your cup of tea, try them out. Now I have to get to work because it is a beautiful day, and as you can see, we have nice still waters, and I really need to get out there and get the rest of my buoys in. I will make an effort to do more of these videos and try to keep the quality decent. Like I said, I'm a resort owner. I do that for a living. These videos are just a way for us to show off what's going on, but don't think of us as influencers or anything like that. So the videography is going to be whatever I can manage on a day-to-day basis. So y'all have a good one, and we'll see you next time.